Broadcast live.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To the crib.
Thank you.
G.O.D Guluva in the
Be
house. Welcome
yes,
to
sir.
the house, man.
You know this. You know this.
Want to talk about this? Chop it up real quick, you know. More water. I want which is of the house, not as a strategy. In
the crib.
In the crib, I'm the chess. You know what I mean? Sacrifice, you make sacrifice, you know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, man. Yeah, out here. So anyway, I'm at my place. When I'm at my place, I'm always styled out. I wear shades in my place. Normally when I do interviews, I'm in other people's places, so I'm always scared people are going to jack me. Because all my shit is expensive, you know. Yeah, so anything, you know. I'm a Versace, I'm a Gucci, you know what I mean?
Safety first.
I want another start for this. There's a green tree there. Spend a Gucci. Get trippy. Niggas be tripping. You know that? Niggas be tripping. Niggas be tripping. Niggas be tripping out here.
Nuts.
I'm
great,
man. You know?
Sharp.
Congratulations, man, on G.O.D Guluva.
Thank you.
You know, the album's been ready like since last year, December, right? What has held you? What has held the album back? You know, what's delayed the album?
I mean, many things, you know, many factors. I mean, when it was ready, it was like the whole country was in like lockdown, you know, and navigating through that was a tough thing, you know. Is it a good idea to drop? Is it not? If you drop, how do you push? What do you do, you know? So all those things kind of, you know, contributed to it. And also, you know, you know, I'm like, it's so navigating that alone, you know, is also something that's new to me. You know? Not only with the album, just being in a place where you feel like you can take on a project, you know, or you are ready to fail or do great, you know, or you are at least, you know, armed. You don't even know what you need to be armed with. You don't even know all those things. So it was really navigating through those things, man. And then finally I got to a point where I'm like, so fuck it. You know? As in, I think this thing is dope. I mean, I got to play it for you also. You know, and all those reactions kind of give you confidence to go, as in, no man, we can do it. You know what I mean? We can do all these things. So it was a matter of being in a very confident place to drop, you know. And yeah, man, it wasn't really anything but me, because the music was always there, the music was always ready, but I didn't know if I was, you know. I didn't know if I needed to be. And I realized that I didn't need to be. Like, I was never going to be ready fairly. So when we had an album for years and years, you know, trying to wait for the comfortability or in, you know, and that thing doesn't come. So you just jump, you know, you jump off the building and you hope you land, and, you know, you have a cushioned landing, or you just float.
Yeah. I mean, you've had an incredible career with the singles that you've dropped, and I saw that you said that this was one of your hardest albums, like to creating or just like processing. What was the difficult part of this album? The creation part, or just the process of like, okay, how do we go out with it?
I think it's the process more than anything. Thank God that most of the music was made right before 2021. You know, the CRTs, I'm actually everyone that's featured on the album was right there, you know, and we were just putting ideas together. You know, the environment was great, the energy was unbelievable, you know, and when we had these skeletons of songs, and then when it was time to finish it, we're in lockdown and things like that, you know, and that's where the hard part was, you know. In the beginning of 2020, there's this whole sort of collapse here, rap life, you know. There's a collapse of relationships that you've had for years, you know, with a Nota, with a Leeroy, with a, you know, it's just everything you knew as a thing is no longer, you know, there's no more, you know. So you and there's also the psychological thing of just being in lockdown, you know, and my wife is pregnant, you know what I mean? So in all of that, and you have to kind of see how you're gonna work an album, and how you have to think of all these things, you know what I mean? The albums I did before, I made the music, and that was that, right? It was, I made the music, and then everything else was siyavumelana ukuthi senza kanje, you know. And now it's like, it's just you know? And that was hard, you know, making decisions and and deciding if those decisions are good or bad, you know, and because you don't know if they're good. I mean, you've learned things, I've seen things happen, but now I have to take accountability for stuff. You know, when something doesn't happen, it's me.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and when something does happen, it's me. You know what I mean? That was the hard part of it, where it even takes a little bit from the creative freedom. Kunokuthuka phakathi, and most of your time you're just thinking about what if it flops, what if it fucks out, what if this, that, and the third, you know? Uzophila kanjani, you know? So much so that you flirt with the idea of just, as in, maybe I should let it all go. You know, maybe that was it. Whatever was done, you know, maybe this was the destiny. Maybe this is the story of Kwesta. Maybe it ends here, you know? So there's all those thoughts, and so it's a mental thing and an emotional thing where nothing really makes sense. That's what made this the hardest thing I've ever taken on, you know?
Is there one decision in this whole process that you remember that you're like, wow, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do here? Like, is there one decision out of this whole journey that, like, you were caught in a place where you never knew what in the world to do?
Yeah. When the music is ready and now you're here and you're kind of deciding, I still keep a album. Who do you do that with? You know, and why? You know, and who distros are you doing? A license? Are you doing? You know, all those things were the hard part. You know, that one gets right, one gets wrong, but because you don't know what is going to happen, and you try and see which one has the best chances, and what one day uvuka ugcwele ngalaba, the next day uvuka ugcwele ngalaba, you know, try to speak to people, but kusasuvuka ngenye indlela, you know, and that decision was tough. Who do I give it to distribute? Who do I give it to? Or do I do a license again? Or do I, you know, all those, that decision was harder than picking songs and putting things together, and what's the best way to go about it, you know, and what makes that the best way, you know, and that was a very tough decision that I think will never stop. I don't think, because even with the decision I made now, it's like nothing completely permanent, you know. So with the next project, I might have to go through that decision again, you know. Maybe having learned a bit more by practice this time. Okay, damn it. I mean, the whole thing, when I decided to finally drop, was that I'm deciding to fall flat on my face, is what I keep saying to myself. I'm like, as in, let me fall flat on my face, myself, you know, and not be pushed to fall on my face. Just you know, and then it's a trust fall, and people got me, you know, or life got, you know what I mean? So yeah, making that decision, who might catch you when you decide, I'm falling flat, and if no one does, you're falling. So all those things were cool.
Do you think that, like, you had given too much of your career to people?
Yes, definitely. I realized that when I was on my own, because everybody, like everyone I worked with, kind of felt a certain sense of entitlement to Kwesta being, you know, regardless of, and I'm not dogging the efforts put in. Definitely many things done to help brand Kwesta, you know, but the entitlement of ownership of brand Kwesta and how he moves and what he does, you know, was always something I let other people do for the longest time, you know, and with that, Nabo, but it feels like, yo, yeah, no, we own Kwesta, you know, it feels like that to them, because that's almost been the practice for years. It's you know, I even think about it sometimes. Like, every time I did something, I'd always, when we did this song, when we did this, and sometimes these would be things that I did on my own, you know, songs that I made myself, but I'd always weed it out, because maybe numbing sabu by one, you know, even in my own head, you know, so I'd always do that, and that was even the general conversation, you know, in say we're in a bus or it was always a we thing. Even if you talk to someone living in Spanana, they'll also go, you know, when we made that song, so I think a lot of it, I allowed a lot of it to happen that way, which is something that, you know, that you take accountability for now. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, people might think this because, you know, I led them to think this. Yeah, well.
But I mean, what would you say to a younger Kwesta, with all those things, all those options coming, and another Kwesta who's on his way, who's also like, I just make the music, man. I just get in the studio, get in the booth, do my thing. I just make the music. They handle everything else.
Yeah.
What are you going to say to a person like that right now?
That's crazy because that was the energy I was on all the time. I'd even say it in interviews. I'm like, no. I mean, I remember one time, well, not one time, a couple of times I was asked to, yo, so how are you guys doing? I mean, you run the business like this, and I'd say, I don't run no business. You know? If I ran this thing, I'd run it straight to the ground and things, you know. Which maybe I don't know. I shouldn't have said things like that because I called it into happening. But I would say to that guy, please focus on those things. You know, give it effort. I mean, it's a thin line between just being driven by passion and just being lazy to do the right thing or to do the important stuff. You know, it's an excuse sometimes to say, I just want to rap me and blah blah blah. Because all the other stuff it's not supposed to. You know, it's not supposed to. That's the real stuff. That's the, okay, you can rap, but now are you taking care of these raps that you're putting in? Are you because these things are supposed to feed you, your family, and things like that, and the people that are around you, you know? So I'd say to them also, ungaspan nabantu abangani, you know? I mean, it's a difficult thing when you decide and you span, like, yo, let's work, and nothing is spoken about in terms of structure, you know, in terms of how the business should be structured, or ownership, or you know, or what's my role and do I have ownership, or am I, you know, a third party, this, that, and the third, or am I consulting, or you know, all those things have to be discussed, you know, and yeah, that would be my plea to umuntu ozozama ukuyenzela. I mean, I think also it's something that you know very well, like I mean, you've been in the game for a while. And a lot of it with friends, you know, and sometimes the friendship maybe gets in the way, or the business gets in the way of the friendship, or you know, and things like that, which are hard to navigate. I don't know what you would say, but I would also, you know, probably ask you, what would you say to a now, well, to a younger Slikour maybe also? Yeah, let me like put it directly that way.
Well, I mean, for me now, I think I was lucky that like I literally moved when things weren't bad. I moved when things were actually still at their prime. I started ventilation when Squatter Camp was still at its prime. But when I started Squatter ventilation, I was disgruntled. And I never knew where to start, you know, how to distribute. So I literally came from a product, and the learnings of that product, I kind of put it onto Slikour. And I saw what they did for Squatter Camp in some instances where I wasn't involved, and I kind of put that into Slikour. But I think, and you were a case study of this, and I mean, I'm saying it with all the respect. It's like you the product, and you had people who were novices who learned to be professional through this product. And the learnings that they took through this product, they can now, it's almost like you are like the degree. You are like the degree, and then all the time they have to talk about their credentials, they pull you out as the degree. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you are sitting there watching them going, okay, well, I probably get, like you're saying, I gave them too much power. And that's the thing about music. If anyone else is helping your career, you helping them get it. As much as they're helping you you become a star. Yeah. They also like
also taking things in, and that's why then, sorry to cut, in the conversation of who made who, then start coming in. You know, it's like it's especially when, you know, you guys decide, oh, it happens at Ansaspani, then there's a conversation about, I made you know. And
did you get that type of thing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not in those specific words, but yeah, you know, I got a lot of that. The only reason you are is because I was, you know, or I did such and such. You know what I mean? And in my head, I'm also like, well, the only reason you are is because I gave you sort of the opportunity to work with. Well, maybe not the opportunity, but I became the product that you needed to be able to stand in a position where you go, I made you. Also, you know, when, like Nyaguzo Mauti, now because ni product pillar, as much as ni pikriti kula kulumi, you know, But manje mina ngumuntu.
Mariti 3, so angithi manje ifana njengo standard 6 angithi. Standard 6 makakhuluma standard 7.
Yeah.
Mara i-student naso sikhula siya ku standard 7 ngoba that's the new artist, you know what I mean, or that's the new so
place.
So it's almost like if you were like standard 6, you also balance the learning to make yourself standard 7. Do you know what I mean? So when you become standard 7, you might not be like so like look at me, okay, I'm like mina sengiyisikolo sabantu abadala. It's a simple thing where mayisikolo sabantu abadala, you still are able to talk about things in standard 6, right? But the world is not like yours when it was in standard 6. It's like I can tell Kwesta, I can tell Blackie, I can tell them, but the world is not the same. But I've got certain experience though that I can go, I've seen this before, but he might be right by doing what I think is not the right thing. Because the world has changed. You understand? But like also the fact that ngizivumela ukuthi ngibe standard 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I can probably still be around the conversation and go, I could be 50% right on experience and he could be 50% right on currency.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So it's almost like what you are saying. You're saying that like you were standard 6 and people became standard 7, 8, 9, 10, and you allowed them to become standard 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's not their fault. It's like you allowed them to be standard 7, 8, 9, 10. While you were like, no, I'm on standard 6.
Shy number.
Standard 6. I standard 7. I'm going to was go to standard 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, those are things, those are truths you kind of tell yourself and you have to accept, you know, and I think what's happening now is not necessarily anybody's fault. Probably mainly mine. You know, if it isn't the way, is because, well, I let them happen. You know, and maybe there were signs that I was refusing to see from even when it was all good or you know, and I just refused because standard 6, you know, class lam, you know,
high school,
I'm the high school king.
Yeah, forever.
And, you know what I mean. So I got caught up in a lot of that.
I mean, it's a lesson, you know, and for me, you know, we have to have this conversation. You know, everybody talks about educating. I mean, you have to say that like you made a mistake. You know what I mean? And whether like people are gonna go Untlamulo took your YouTube page or whatever, you have to say you allowed that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, especially with that, it's like it's not really a take. It's like I opened it, so it's my IP kind of situation. You know, not me. Like say Untlamulo opened the page and
using whose name?
Mine, you know, is Kwesta, is the page is an official Kwesta thing. You know, and I was like, oh yeah, I got a page. You know what I mean? I didn't go, but where does this belong? Whose is this? You know, and I think a lot of operations were happening. Like Nota was operating under the fact that I'm an urban-tainment artist. You know what I mean? And I was never operating under that. But because we didn't have the conversation and things, and I didn't think to have the conversation, you know, whether he thought to have it and then decided not to, or nah, he didn't think, I wouldn't know now, you know. But so now that becomes a YouTube page. I can upload stuff, which I just learned now that you can actually just keep uploading, but you know who the stuff belongs to is then, you know, the
person who started.
Yeah, it's the person who started it, you know, and that's why you should. Maybe that's factual, you know, but in there's also questions like, but because I was not an artist, entertainment, how then is that a factual thing, you know? And how is, because we're operating under that, but between myself and the company, there was never an agreement to say I am, you know, if there were other artists under the company, I am now part of the same company as so and so. You know, it was never that. Really, ama-floppers wenzile were in the beginning, like Lintes njalo, you know, Magmvula YouTube page, what does this mean? Who does it belong to?
Essentially, you never gave him the permission to start the YouTube page to use your name because you were not signed under Urbantainment, basically.
Yes, but I accept YouTube
but you
page
never said no also.
Yeah, I didn't say no
you never
also,
said
which
no
is where
also.
I didn't say no, I want it open like this, or we had a YouTube page, we needed a YouTube page, we had a YouTube page, and you opened it, but it was never a conversation with you. So this page belongs, but it will host some of your things and this, that, and the third. So kube indaba nje ukuthi ngivumile kodwa ngivuma, ngoba azange ngixoxe ukuthi so ngifuna ukuvulela ipage and this, that. Tema livuleka nami I didn't say hayibo livule kanjani page,
Yeah.
So it's again another mistake. That's why ngithi zenzeke zisuka lezi zinto lezi. Even when we were starting, even when we went to sign a license deal with Sony, the idea that I was operating under and I thought we all was that, well, I remember Sfuni company, right? Because we're like, let's start new stuff and this, that, and the third. But now you register company. First of all, that's not mad. Second of all, each process, this, that, and the third. Nota, not a company, not a company, So let's use that until. Yeah, so let's use that until. Well, until Entertainment, So I didn't know the owners of Entertainment. I didn't know who.
Okay, so you never knew who's registered as an Entertainment owner.
Yeah. I just always figured, Nota. I don't know who else. And then so I from the company, not a company, man. Let's just do this, and then so Bona Pambi.
So you the one who said, Nota, you've got a company, let's go.
Yeah, but see talk song, see three, myself, Nota, and Leeroy. So here's a person with a company, because another the other company that was there was also I didn't have a company at all. Leeroy was also registered with other people in another company, and like hey, and because Bengas would in like let's go with this one, let's go.
So
Sony.
basically, it wasn't declared.
Nothing was. That's why almost nothing was declared. Like it was just a go. Everything's go. Okay, what can we use? Okay, night company. So say assign and as for licensing team. Okay, I see a send it in. And then when it comes to you see, when it starts, it's easier to not talk. But imagine it then becomes a professional conversation where like no, but by right I deserve this, that, and the third. If it ever happens, we'll do it like this, that, and the third. So that's the thing. I mean, among it, Entertainment and contract now, but I allowed it to do many things because it was the only company that was there.
So what was the Rap Life then? What's Rap Life?
Rap Life was supposed to be what we changed the Entertainment to.
Was the Rap Life a registered company though?
Yeah.
Or was it just a bank account?
It was it became a bank account later.
Registered
it was registered, but it was registered only under Leeroy.
Oh.
VAR.
But how did you allow that to happen though?
I didn't even go register the company, right? He just did that, and in time, but it was always said with X, and later isn't to so far the share splits and things, especially when X got in. I would say, document IDs, boom, boom, let's put these things, and that shit never happened. I sent in mine, then I also ended up being on the registered as a owner of it, but everybody else didn't send in their things to kind of register the thing and be a part of the thing. You know what I mean? I don't know whether there was reservations or it was, angfuni, or it was just no one ever got around to doing it, or maybe entertainment maybe someone felt like that.
So who was paying like for shows? Who was paying were they salaries? You had different artists. Who was paying? Which company was paying?
It was Rap Life and Renovate. There's a company also, Renovate, which
corporation.
Big feel. And the Renovate now I ended up later being on the registration of it,
Renovate, whose company was that then?
It was Leeroy's.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what paid for everything pretty much. And the Rap Life company also was that's where the money were going. Renovate the rap life, where the monies and the shows. One has VAT, one didn't have VAT, so it was a matter of yo, this is
I'm
the
sure
VAT
Rap Life had
invoices.
VAT.
This is the VAT invoices. This is the non-VAT invoice. You know.
Rap Life had VAT, eh?
Was it? Yeah, Rap Life had VAT.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure when they registered, they're like, yeah, if you're
Rap Life
excited
had
by
VAT
VAT, and then Emalia VAT, yadliwa, Emalia VAT, that hey.
Yeah.
I know these things.
Yeah, and I didn't. Well, I don't really go in and know. So let you into Zako so was register and put you in it. Okay, sharp. And also these people, I'm working with people I trust with my life.
Of course.
You know, so yeah, sharp.
But do you know? Well, let me ask you a question also that I don't know. Maybe if you've thought of. Do you know whether the VAT in Rap Life is paid off?
The VAT, I don't know.
That's something that you need to follow up, because if it's still written under Senzo Vilakazi.
I mean, I know there's we just haven't had because it's tough to sit and be together.
No, SARS will tell you how much you owe them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was always being paid, you know. So, but I don't know when it stopped, because now it's not an operating thing. So
okay.
Yeah, but it was always.
I mean, if it's always been paid,
then
then that's cool. I mean, then I guess then there's nothing to our. So okay, renovate and okay, cool. So essentially, what were you guys paying for? Because okay, there were the cars, there were the salaries. What were you? So who was on salary, and which company was paying for what? Or were both companies just paying for whatever?
Everybody was on salary. At first, nobody. It was always like, ish, I need this, I need that.
Oh, so it was like a pool.
Yeah. Ish, you know, and everyone. And then as time went, we have an accountant and things we were attempting to make it structured right, you know. And then we started salaries from TLT, Makwa, myself, Nota, Kid, Leeroy, and we're all on salaries.
Okay.
Everyone was on salary.
So even all the show money basically
went into a pool that eventually paid the salaries, you know. So that also got a little bit tough when you don't have shows and you have a salary bill waiting. Like, say, also the band was on salary also. Everyone was on. So now when the shows, say you go through a rough month, you know, where you did like 1-2 shows, and so band didn't play, but band has salary, you know. Things didn't happen to get the money in, but everyone deserves a salary, and everyone, because that was the agreement. And so with me, because I'm not really great. I don't have a great business acumen, you know. Right now I'm just learning what is I deserve and what is right, you know. But I'm not by a mile a great businessman, you know.
I mean, you learn.
You learn.
But don't take that back again. I need to say, you know.
You know, I'm gonna be a great businessman. Yeah. You know, but these lessons are hard and these lessons are tough. And also, you know, I've been sitting a lot with people who ask me these questions, and sometimes I don't have the answers because angas, you know, I'm not really fully sure. Hey, you know, which is why I've always been for a conversation, you know, from a closure thing to just a peace thing to okay, bygones, because that's the thing that isn't sometimes, you know. I mean, everywhere I go, I get asked the same thing, you know, and I don't know how to answer it factually, because some of the things I don't know as facts. You know, I could tell you what I think of so and so, and what I think of so and so, and what I think who did what. But that's what I think. I'm not sure what their intentions were, what all those things, you know, because you know, and it seems nobody wants to do that a little bit, you know, because also it's probably a hard thing to revisit, you know. So I get it sometimes, and I don't even know if it would help, but whenever I get asked, I need to say an answer I know, and it would help a lot if everyone spoke, and then there's an answer, you know, that I know when I
mean, when you're asked by like who?
It's all of Nkuluma Cosmo on the stirrup, you know, and it came up, and I was saying the same thing, like, and I've been Nkuluma Nano Mekji, you know, and I'm like, I don't know. some of these things, and I don't want to come across as pointing a finger, because I'm in that. You know, the first thing you do is accept that this thing fell, and you played a part. You definitely played a part in because you can't just claim to playing a part in just building it and making it great. You know, and when it doesn't, or when it falls apart, you say, I had nothing to do with that. It was such and such. You know, so the first thing was just for me is like, I know definitely that there's something that the guys feel I did to or didn't do, you know, enough of that led to the demise of things. I can even feel it, you know, but I don't know what that thing is that I may have done, you know, or someone else may live like I did something. There's just all these things where me, the first thing I want to do is accept that I'm a part of something that fell apart, right? And not just be set on I'm a part of something that was great, you know, on just the good side of the story, you know. But for me to learn, I need to know, outside of also just learning that I allowed a lot to happen without me looking and understanding. There may be other things that I did that contributed to the fall, you know. And there may be those things that, say maybe a Nota feels I did, or Leeroy feels I did, but because we don't have the opportunity to talk about it, then I won't know.
Are you when you say talk about it, I mean, are you guys on talking terms, casual talking terms, or?
Yeah, me and Leeroy are on talking terms. Me and X are on talking terms. Me and Nota are not. Yeah. Yeah. And so, which is also an imbalance, you know, because it's needed. So we don't have, like X and Leeroy and I don't have just conversations amongst ourselves, or whatever, or plan things. We don't do that, but we're casual, you know, but it's because Nota is probably, I don't know his relationship with everyone else, but mina ngiyazi ukuthi asiring, you know, it's gonna be tough to figure that out if asikho song, you know, akusizi ukuthi ngikhulume no X no Leeroy ekhoneni, you know, or Nota khulume no X no Leeroy ekhoneni, or Leeroy khulume no X ekhoneni. It doesn't help, you know, unless we talk, because me, essentially, it sucks that things are the way they are, you know, but because we're people and human and friends, and well, at least that's my take, you know, and so I care about you know, and I think we, at some point, we all cared about each other, you know, in a personal level, you know, which for me that's why it sucks that the business didn't work, but that's important.
I mean, so what is and I wouldn't expect you not to talk to anybody, or to have that kind of tension, but what literally has made you not be engaging with the Nota? What's made you stop talking?
We were in the beginning of the year, you know, and then there was like I mean, at first he was trying to set up some things, like when we accepted that, okay, I spun, I think I spun, and he's doing his thing, La Spana Corner, you know, and we're talking about, yo, maybe your next project should be through this and this is how it's set it up, and all those things. Maybe get, I don't want to use people's names, you know, maybe get a lawyer to help you set this up and this, that, and the third, you know, which I did, and then the conversation generally went to, okay, but the reconciliation, where do we stand? How's that? I mean, there's sales royalty monies that have to come out, and that's where the issues started, you know, where how much goes to who and why, and what's the entitled, what do you feel entitled to, what do I get, you know, and that was where the things went sour when the lawyer and Nota came to, hey man, and then I get told, and I'm like, hey bro, kanjan, you know, no, and now I have to go, yo, who worked on what song, who paid for what song, who owns this, you know, and that argument is then what caused everything to kind of just go south, you know, where I think he felt, because the business also was owned by the Oledi and himself, and I'm not sure who else. So now when we when we're asking, no, we are not agreeing with what you're saying with regards to this. So we're, countering or whatever. And then there's like, it seemed then that I'm attacking his family. I'm attacking his mom. And I think that's the last conversation we had where he's like, bro, are you suing my mom? Or are you sending lawyers to my mom? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm sending lawyers to BNS, And that's mom is already corner.
And this is where you find, she's speaking to you with the mother next to him.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah.
So you're saying that the old lady is on the paperwork?
You
never knew.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know.
You only found out now that
the
mother
when it's happening, we're taking the old lady pagat, and even then I'm like, okay, lawyer, I smell none because that's not what I want, to happen, and it just went downhill from there. It was never reconciled and fixed, because I think he thought I knew I'm going for that, and I didn't know, and I think that's where it went wrong because it went south because I mean, all it lamb, through the years, all it lamb, So I stopped it, even with the lawyer. Like, as in, man, but got some advice. I mean, I spoke to you about it also. So I'm facing this, that, and the third. Don't know how to go about it, this, that, and the third. And since then it's just haven't been conversated. That's when we stopped talking. But I occasionally try to reach out. I mean, there were tweets sent and blah blah blah, and I'm like, as Vanessa ringing for me, that's why. And was I with? No, I think I was with Max. It was in Chesworks, and there were just tweets happening and things like that. And I go, Vanessa ring, I'm like, nah, I'm phoning, nix, bring her now, And well, I've made other attempts, but I'm shooty. Sharp, that's why you think there's anything as because I can almost guarantee that I'm the devil.
So I mean, just context, and tell me if I'm right. So because you guys never had a label, you signed Nota's company, eh? What is it called again? Urbantainment. So Urbantainment signed with Sony. Urbantainment signs with Sony. And for money but like all the money, whether it's invoicing, whether it's the cars, houses, everything is going through Rap Life and Renovate, right? But the royalty money, and we haven't talked about that. So the royalty money, because Sony is signed Urbantainment, really, not really Kwesta. Sony has signed Urbantainment. Because of what you guys said you agreed on when you started. Sony literally now has to pay the royalties, right?
True, yeah.
But this has been happening for 7 years. Why didn't you guys see it in the first year when Sony paid you guys the first time?
No, what we did is we never took any payments from Sony at any point. So it was the only one ever taken. Like we kind of never collected for a very long time.
For 7 years.
For 7 years, yeah. We never collected for 7 years. And when we did, that's when then the conversations.
So clearly the money was too much for people to remember anything.
I think so. I don't know.
I mean, you know how much the money was. You have clearly the money. If you were like the most streamed artist, with 1 or 2 singles, a couple of singles, the highest streamed artist.
Yeah, but if you think about it also, this we didn't have the greatest of deals, I don't know, with the licensing. Yeah, I mean, it was good now. That's why I'm not saying, it was shit. I think it was standard at the time we were signing.
Yeah.
It was the standard deal. Which later as you go, that's what we could have negotiated. You don't think so?
Yeah.
We could have, but it was standard. So it wasn't like Baskawatile or what. We signed the standard deal. And yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like money that does things to one's life. It's a substantial amount of money. And yeah, that's when then you ngaziwa ukuthi yapi engakanani and why, because I produced this, I did that, and I did. So manje sekukhulunywa kanjalo because
So let me ask
agna
you a
paper that we can pull out and say, no, bro, bunje, actually, you know.
Besides Nota saying he's building his brand when he does his posts, besides that, I mean, obviously through the 6 years, I'm assuming, how was Nota and Leeroy's relationship?
It was always bad. It got bad really early. You know, it got bad. It was good. It was great. I mean, Nota begahlala kabo Leeroy in K1, you know, and now ngihlala K1, but now I was like,
La that's got the bamtrita khona.
treat.
I don't know. He's posted something that he used to stay somewhere, K1, and they used to make him sleep on the floor or something like that.
Oh, that's
what he said.
I'm not sure.
So he used to stay at Leeroy's place.
Yeah, and that's where it's set up. We set up, but it would, like every morning we'd kind of go there, just let it happen, you know.
Unless he was at Leeroy's place by choice, not because like Guboy Fourways got the bamtoshil.
No, yeah,
He chose to be
there.
there.
Yeah, it was the closest place where we could, you know, and he could go, you know, and
so I just know what I'm just trying to say is that like there was no bad blood in his family for him to go. Now I have to go live at Leeroy's house. It was really
at least not that I know of. No.
Okay.
Not something.
It was really okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But like it was more of a creative. It was the creative environment, creative hub you guys had created.
Yeah, it was the hub that we could all do these things and kind of plan and what, you know, and. So that's why it wasn't brought up. And it was good for a while, you know. It was like big Zwan, you know, good ride, you know. We'd all go on the road whenever the shows would all come back. Like it was fine. And I'm not sure what really happened. I mean, I remember one day, this was, I don't know how many years we'd been going at it now, you know, but there was a physical fight at the airport. You know, and from there it was just never the same. You know, it was always, you know, it was just, I mean, we'd be doing things, but the guys wouldn't even be in the same sort of area. Like we'd have to talk through now WhatsApp groups or whatever. Or, yeah, you know, and that created that thing. You would see. I guess there's that. So. But angeke ngikwazi ukudictate ukuthi abantu baphathane kanjani, you know, and yeah, so they never really got along.
So do you think that like because clearly then there was that physical altercation, but there's never been an issue where like anyone had a problem with the Rap Life saying okay salaries or the other company saying okay.
There's been all those issues with it, where they're raised with it. Man. Why is this company linked to this? Why is this card done with this? And why, you know, there's been many of those conversations.
Which Nota was bringing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which were actual concerns, you know, but me not because I felt I was also already playing like a mediator of sorts because the guys want to get it.
So you were like, I mean, Nota could have been raising valid points, but you were still in the mind state of attention. So you weren't really looking like at the whole thing objectively when Nota was raising those things up. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so now obviously the money comes from Sony, and when did you start seeing a change in his behavior? Even on social media, was that like the time where like now you guys are about to go get this money from Sony, or was that just, did it organically happen, Jade? Was it on its way? You know, when did you start? Because you guys were close. I mean, you guys knew this shit was over before we all knew.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, you're right. We kind of knew, but I think more for me as there was a denial thing. You know, because I mean, when people started stopping, or Nota stopped coming to the office, right? I didn't even know we had gotten a new job and I just found out, like, you know, there was never a conversation to say.
Oh, that was a long time ago then.
Yeah.
At the orchard, that was a long time ago.
So we never discussed it. As in, I mean, we discussed many times the the growing concerns of the company, but didn't really say I hasn't been here, gents, because I'm thinking.
So Nota basically, so he couldn't in your view perspective, he couldn't resolve this. So he was like, when the job opportunity came, he said, let me just save myself.
Protecting, but you know, which is not something you can blame. You know, but a conversation would have been dope. You know, you could say, I think me and Angenza Ganjing. So, and at this time we're still on the road. We're traveling together, we're going to shows, but you know, Agaspani. You know,
are you guys still paying him the salary? Do you know?
At the time, I think so. I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know actually. Angazi ukuthi istop any.
So should I interview accounting no Leeroy? Interview accounting no Leeroy. Now sibukela ngoba bengazi.
You know? But I mean, to be completely honest with you, like you're right. We saw it that it was about to out. It was going.
Yeah.
And yeah. So when we're doing these shows that are there, like even in the beginning of lockdown and what, and right before that, we're going everywhere. We're performing and we're doing things, but you know, uspana gwenyindao, Nota, you know, at the time. And I mean, me, I'm like, what? It's cool, you know, because now I'm finding out and I. You know, without the conversation, but I'm like, it's cool, because in my head, outside of what people do, I mean, this is my nigga. You know, so that's why more than anything, outside of the valuable sort of input that Nota had in everything that was built, I don't see greater than him as a person, you know, than him being a nigga, guy, you know.
So you're also a bit like, okay, I'm glad that he's doing a little bit up on that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why when lockdown started, we were having these conversations. To say, no, I think Mele wants a ganja. I think Mele, you know, because outside of it all, there's a care, you know, and I don't know if I'll be going too far on his side, but a love of sorts that we've built over the years, you know, which now, because we can't save the work, you know, I'm hoping can be somehow, you know,
the human aspect can be there.
Yeah, you know.
Well,
because
you
as soon as
can't
we
save
lose
the
that,
work.
then we're beasts.
So you can't save the work. The money's gone, you know. But you're saying, but it's cool, we're still people. And he's saying, nah, I ain't trying to speak to you.
Yeah, you know. And also maybe because, well, not even maybe, because he feels wronged by this somewhat.
What do you think?
Betrayed. I really don't. I don't know.
Do you feel betrayed by everything?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
if you say that everyone was taking fruit salaries, the assumption is that maybe you were making the most money.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
everybody was pulling a salary
billing
from
more to the company than anyone, you know.
So don't you feel betrayed?
I mean, I do, but I don't know if it's by a person or by myself also, you know, or by the situation. Like, I don't know where to put it. This is why I need this conversation. You know, I don't know where what I feel betrayed by or who because outside of all these things that are that are happening, all these tweets that are being posted and all those things and blah blah blah, I don't know. I don't subscribe to those. That's whatever. In my head, I'm like, one day so ring and you know, and I'll understand what I feel betrayed by, or because I also do feel like I gave my career, and the business end of things was really never my business, you know, which was a bad thing to think. It's like when we were talking earlier.
If you were trying to be business and not focus on the art, though,
there would be no business to focus on, you know, if I didn't do that, you know what I mean? So the collapse of the dam then becomes to those responsible, and I need to know what and how, you know, because my flaw obviously is not taking care of that and not being a part of that and not overseeing enough stuff or making decisions or, you know, or just deciding.
If I had to take it from a page of my life, not to say that my life is the be all and everything, but if I had to take it from a page of my life, if you are saying there's love, and I still speak with Leeroy, I'm still cool with X, I'm just not speaking with Nota, and I don't know, but I would like to have a conversation so I can understand.
Yeah, I mean, I get that a lot, especially that hard to articulate how you, why you left or giving reasons, and I think I'm suffering from all those things also. That's why some of the questions I'm like, maybe someone needs to be here. But there's love with, I mean, I've known Leeroy my whole life.
Of course.
You know, that it's, you don't switch that off because business is banana, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I love X, you know, just generally, you know, I love Nota. Just, you know, we have a very long history. I mean, about, I don't know, over 15 years, I think, you know. But with all of that, I think me and Leeroy have an ex or still calling each other for things. I need you to do this. I need this from you. And you know, and guy will call and go, yo, I need this and this, that, and the third. So there's that's still a thing that's happening, but it's not happening with Nota because I can't talk to him, really, you know. And I don't know if it's happening with the other guys, but on my end, it's not. So there's love, nokusizana, no, the relationship or the human aspect is still kept alive with myself, Leeroy, and X. You know, I call and thing in, calls and thing in, you know, call. Siza in exeng yazwakala ngishaya around, you know, in this, you know. But in that space there's not a lot of conversations about what happened because yeah, sure, you know.
I think that like friendship is measured by life happening to you, and you still want to kind of reach out to a person and go, yo, okay, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's literally where I am with at least trying to do that. You know, it's not much of an effort with Leeroy and X. Those, you know, I mean, I was launching the album the other day. Leeroy's there, you know. X is there performing also, you know. X was doing something in that way, and I didn't even like. I just pulled up. I was gonna chill. Ended up on stage. I was rapping, you know, and we talked, and, you know. But with, I think when you say you and Smacks never took anything away from each other, I think that a belief that Nota has is that I took things away from him, you know. But because I'm not sure what those things are or what exactly is meant by that, or, you know, so that's why it's hard to.
Let's talk about real things, tangible things. I mean, he can speak for himself.
And I think Imali.
I was gonna talk about. Let's talk about tangible things. You are not in the business. The way I'm understanding, Leeroy is the business.
Yeah.
The core head of the business.
Yeah.
You just make the music. You know. So.
But I can't act like I didn't act like I'm in the conversations. Also, I just don't plug or don't do enough whenever there's concerns being raised. I'm not saying I'm in the studio rapping. I'm in there sitting.
You're not anti Leeroy. You're not pro Nota. You're just quiet.
That's the biggest flop I think on my end. You know, where.
So I mean, if Nota saw that, like, okay, Kwesta's not helping me here. I mean, he's smart. He's like, well, let me jump to Orchard then, because maybe this is where I kind of get my independence. I own my shit. You know what I mean? If anything, he's in the safest place.
Well, now is that what you're saying?
I mean, in comparison to all you guys, he's in the safest place. You know,
probably.
I
just don't know much because I'm
just
not
saying.
To some
Yeah.
So.
I mean, he's got no dependence. He told me the other day that, like, he's got nothing to lose. His father's building him a room outside the house, so if anything happens, you know what I mean? He's the safest out of all you guys. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, it's sad, and I think that Nota learns by being around people who actually are able to become product. Do you know what I mean? Nota is in my view is not like, he's not the talent, but he's the mind behind the talent, and he needs to. It's unfortunate you guys can't connect, because he needs to find, or even from you, find what is the next step. Even when work, he needs to challenge himself and say, okay, cool, we've the highest streaming, but what is the next thing I'm gonna do for Kwesta? I mean, that's his next challenge, right? Okay, you not working with Leeroy anymore? He doesn't like Leeroy. Okay, cool, let's go. I still, because you guys are still speaking anyway, right? So my next challenge is, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think at the top of the year of 2020, that's the conversations were kind of going there where, yo, what else can, because I'm not there with Kwesta anymore. I'm here at the Orchard. What can be done? You know, what we were having those conversations until feeling offended by a letter that was attacking his mom, that came from a lawyer, you know, or who's also sending a letter to the business, really, not to, you know, yeah, you know. But I think since then it was like, fuck it, you know, fuck this guy. So I don't think he was purposely saying
not looking at the next.
Yeah, I think he was in the beginning, to be fully honest, you know.
Okay,
yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, these things will be I don't think it's even money then. I mean, he's got the money, right? I mean, you feel it's unfair. You feel however the splits are. He's got the money. You're not making money the issue. But I think he's gonna make peace. Give him time. And he's gonna come back. You know, he's gonna come back one way or the other. Because I don't think it's the money. He's got the money now.
I mean, that's why you should. I mean, out of anything that he's done in making and shaping the path that Kwesta took, all that shit, you know, I could lose all that, like, and go, no mas ngasa span, right? I could span with someone else who's maybe not as great or whatever the situation, you know. But that one day of making peace is probably what I would.
That's what you want.
Yeah, that's what I desire more than with span. Yeah, would you know, friend. I can't make friends, bro. It's tough for me to make friends generally, even with my personality and shit. So I can't lose them also. Yeah, I don't take lightly to that. I mean, a lot of people come around me and come at me and say, how the fuck do you let this happen? How the fuck do you know, whenever they feel some type of way about something he might have said, and this, that, and the third, you know, come Kwata, this, that, and the third. Yeah, it takes me off, but what are you gonna do? I'm like, nothing, bro. I mean, you know?
So Nota, all them people on your comments are not your real friends. Here's your real friend right here. I just want to say that, because he's also not good at making friends. Let's just be 100. You know what I mean? He's also not good at making friends, you know what I mean? And that's valuable, you know what I mean? It's valuable. Friends are valuable, especially in this game, you know? So I want to just also jump into like the project. A friend also opened the album, Younger, you know?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
It's magic. It's pure magic.
Was it planned or?
It wasn't planned. It wasn't planned. We're in artists just making songs, you know, jumping on this, and next thing is listening to that, jumping on that. You know, we're just trying to create something, you know, and anything. And when that happened, I think Senzo MG, who produced the joint, I mean, and John London were kind of making the beat, and I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I just like, you know, Alala Subway is so funny, I don't know. No, it was actually because we set up, like, making a studio there whenever someone wants to write or what Lana wins with beat, like, record, you know, like I'm a camera, got this, like, you know. And I think I slept in the one, like, when so it wasn't a bedroom. I just jumped on the bed and fell asleep, and in my sleep, I could hear this. You know, is this love? I'm in my sleep that time, you know, and I don't want to wake up because it's so dope. It's like, I'm like, yo, and then Mangvuga, it's young. I just, you know, no, take this up, take this down, you know, let's, you know. So I mean, and when I asked him, like, what the hell, bro? He like came here and I listened to everything that, because also there was skeletons that I'd come with maybe from the house or whatever.
Yeah.
And I listened and I literally wanted to find a contribution and not jump on a song, you know, and literally just make something that will be, you know, like my contribution to it, not just the verse, you know. And at first I thought, because I thought it was a song about girls and things, and like he's a heartbroken guy, you know? And it's a song about love in the game and how that treats you and how that affects us and things and yeah, man. So Young, I pretty much did that song, you know. And when I was listening to the songs together, I was like, this is like, because it's also very prayer-like. It's vulnerable, and it's like, you know, I'm making this album, but is this gonna get love? Is this the world that I want to jump back into again? Is this, you know? And yeah, that's why in my head I'm like, we're gonna have to kick it off with this, you know. I remember when I was telling him, he's like, I don't know if you want to start with it and things, you know. But eventually he listened to everything, and he kind of also saw that it's actually very fitting for it to begin with. And also, I mean, you know, we also have a good relationship. You know, that's my bro, and he's the current champion of hip hop, man.
Yes, go on.
So let him start the album.
I mean,
I was asked with the man. So I mean, the first thing I hear is Young. Why is that happening? I think we're doing a listening session. I'm like, well, you know, Izinja. I like Izinja. Look who I got on my intro. You know what I mean? Because that's who Younger is now. It's not a, yo, so who's this guy? Look who I got on my intro. You know? And yeah, that's how that song came about. I think it came out beautifully, man. I think all this melodic thing and which is not typical me, you know, because I don't sort of do a lot of the melody stuff. I kind of want to rap or do that lazy shit, you know, but I don't quite go. And you know, I went there and I followed Young pretty much.
Tell me how you got into the KO, the vocalistic collaboration. I've got a theory about that song.
What's the theory? I mean,
you literally like recorded all your verses not knowing who was gonna be on the feature.
At first, yes.
Exactly.
At first. Because I got the beat from Makwa.
Yeah.
And I didn't even feel it at first. I was like, you know, but I kept playing it and I was like, okay. And I'm recording it. I'm like, let me try this beat. Let me try something with this thing. And it comes out and I rap, I do the verse, and I stop. Then I had to think about what I'm gonna do next or what would work, you know, because also it's got like this long ass kind of chorus thing and pre-chorus, and I felt like, yo, hey, now, you know, and I felt like somebody could give it, you know, a bit more, you know, could add, you know, value to it, and in my mind then came, you know, KO and Folka, you know. At first, I mean, I've been dying to make a song with KO for like my entire career, you know. So when he hit me up for the song we did as Kind of World, no Roy, no Local, just Loki, I like, yo, we're gonna rap on the same joint. We've never rapped on the same joint, right?
For real, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't remember if we've ever rapped on the same joint. And I'm like, yo, we're gonna rap on the same joint, you know. And obviously then I saw that as an opportunity. I'm like, yeah, I got this joint too, bro. You know, and I mean, it was special, the things that he does on there. You know, I think we had a conversation just about the climate of South African hip hop, you know, and the identity and all those things. You know, and he was telling me about how we should be taking sort of bridging back the gap, at least, of identity of what it is that is South African music. I mean, South African hip hop, and what is not. You know, what represents us and what doesn't. Things, you know, because we're talking about just how even when the beats are American and things like that, and or like American trap music, even when you rap in vernac on top of those things, it's not quite the South African, you know, sound. Like we got to find that again. You know, we're talking about all of that, and obviously, which means you have to take yourself out of the conversation of hip hop versus EPR. You kind of have to make the South African hip hop sound. You know, and yeah, and we're agreeing. We just, you know, we saw eye to eye with that, you know, and that's why it was easy for me to jump on the joint, you know. And with Folk, I mean, I've been down to work with Folk. We met, well, we bumped into each other in one of the lockdown shows. I'm not sure which one it was, you know, the big lockdown, and the shows we'd get are the live stream shows and things like that. And we bumped into each other there, and we just, we gotta work, gotta do something, gotta do this, that, and the third. And you know, I called him up on it, said, yo, got this joint, you know, I want to jump on this. And also, and funny enough, I found like a DM that he had sent in 2016.
Wow.
I think 2016, 2015. I'm like, yo, you know, it'd be dope if we worked, you know. But you know, at the time, Footy, I ain't tweeting shit. You know, I ain't reading shit.
Yeah.
I'm not into none of that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
you know, which was crazy. I'm like, yeah, damn, what's this now? 5 years later.
Yeah.
You know, we on the joint. You know,
It's
and
crazy.
also he's on top of the fucking world. You know,
Kwesta, right?
it's
Kwesta, as he says.
Yeah, Kwesta. You know,
Yeah.
get Maradona, that
Yeah.
man. So I mean, just having him on the joint is just, you know, probably not the dumbest thing you can do.
I mean, look, one of my favorite songs, you know, is Sanmona.
Eyes.
How did that come about?
I mean,
It's Eyes, huh?
yeah.
Yo, could you just say the lines there, bro?
It's Sanbonani. Igama uNhlupheko isibonga uNdlala.
Jeez.
And I don't know the color. Sanbonani. Igama uNhlupheko isibonga uNdlala. Yeah, and I don't know the color of my eyes. You know, it goes, many men and many women died. So freedom is the color of your eyes, you know. So own that shit. So it's like a nyazisaba in my situation, and what I can't face, I can't look myself in the eye. Like that's why I don't know the color of my eyes, because I don't know my true self and my true sense, or I think my situation is bigger than who I am as a person. So I'm trapped in that, and I don't know my potential, which means I don't know, you know, how far I can go. I don't know, and also I'm just in a shitty place. That's why, shit is that real out here, and I feel it ain't fair, you know.
I mean, the second verse for me, I thought you were talking to yourself, though.
Yeah, I was. I was, you know, I really
Please
was.
do that verse, that second verse, bro.
Oh,
I know
do I
it ain't a
even-
freestyle show, but like,
See.
you know.
Everybody wins against me. Ngisho ngibathandayo, test me. Fool me 10 times, it's just me. And everybody wins against me. A sensitive nigga, that's me. They sense it and they feed off that shit. Then sensibly they pack and just leave. And then it's therapy sessions for the week. But you hard and jayam. Zolunga next time. Rawam. Mazubuya next time. Ungawari. Uyangijuta that time. Gantagazi ukuthi ngiyazi kuzoba uya next time. Because it's all love for a damn fee. The real cost is your well-being.
Wow.
Fool me 10 times, it's just me. And everybody wins against me. You know, it's it was like it's like a little poem. It's like almost a sip. So it was a conversation.
That just brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
I promise you. I mean, and even on the beats, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's Tweezy on that thing.
Who wrote the chorus?
I did.
Whoa, bro.
When I wrote that song, I sang these parts, and I'm like, hey, I won't mind you bimba, you know. And then I remember, and we're thinking about, I was with Tejo MG, even thinking about, because is it smart to even get someone else to sing on this joint because of the type of joint that it is, or should it just be me, you know, and things like that. And I sat on the idea that let's get someone, you know, and let's make it a song, and even how that happened, we're in studio, and I just remembered that Jay Something had a competition for vocalists on his Instagram that he was running and things, you know, and I just went on his page and just started playing all sorts of people. And I bumped into her. I was like, no way. I think this is the person I need. This Mzulu Paka person I need it. You know. So I call up Jay Something, and I'm like, yo, bro, remember there's this girl that did this. I don't know if you still have her numbers and this, that, and the third. I really need her for something, you know. And Ganjalo Jay just passed me her numbers and said, yo, nah, number. And I called her. And unfair. It was very unfair on her because I literally called her and said, "I need you now," you know, because we're in that song, you know, where it's we can't let it go, can't miss this, you know. And she said she was busy with something, but she'll pull through, and she pulled through, you know. And then she sang that thing, bro.
Say that chorus again, and because I wanna really just the chorus.
Sanbona, ikamuntlupheko msibongunja. And I don't know the color of my eyes. I don't know the color of my eyes. Nganemnyama. Many men and many women died. So freedom is the color of your eyes. You know, so it's like the second part of this and it's like a reassurance to the question, because at first it's like, I don't know the color, man, and it's like a voice of reason. Hey, let me tell you, and, you know, you are freedom. That is who and what you are inside. You know, so yeah.
So here's my thing, you know, and because that verse, literally, when you said what you said, I just really want to close it like this, you know. You are lucky and you are privileged and you are blessed more than many. And it's no mistake. And you say in your rhymes, you're your mother's favorite, and you know, you're not your mother's favorite. She loves you all equally. She just sees how blessed you are. And she sees how blessed you are not because she's only looking at her kids, because she's lived a life long enough to see what happens to kids in her generation and kids of her peers also. She's seen more than you've ever seen. So her gratitude for her fortune is overwhelming, and she gives you that extra care because she knows you have this from the community you're from. You have this fortune of being who you are. And no matter, I know the deals you're making, I know the money you're making, at least a bit. And for you to say your name is Intlupego, Isibongo Sako Indlala, you know, you're digging from a deeper place than money, you know. You're digging from a place of not understanding even your own blessings. And that place is so deep that you're scared to even protect your own blessings. And that's why you say that they take advantage of your sensitivity. The reason why I never kept calling you is because I left you. Because, you know, I wouldn't do you any harm. But you need to grow up to start protecting yourself. Not your wife, not your kids. You need to grow up to start protecting yourself. That's your problem. You're not protecting yourself. And by not protecting yourself, you're not protecting your blessings. And when things happen like this, even at this point, you are not awake enough to realize that, like, everything that's happened around you is because of exactly the verse you wrote. That second verse you wrote, that self-doubt, that I don't deserve, that why is it me mentality, that's what is holding you back, Kwesta. That is your biggest challenge. You don't want to learn for your gift. You don't want to be great for your gift. You literally just want to look at it and go, I don't believe it's mine. You want to live your whole life like, I don't believe it's mine. So you lean on people and you're not embracing what's yours. You're not protecting what's yours, you know. And that's your biggest problem. And when I heard that song, you described yourself. That means you know yourself. But I'm telling you, you are not fighting to protect yourself. You think it's okay. You think it's okay to literally like be taken advantage of. You think it's okay to literally know less. You think it's okay to learn the hard way because okay, at least I've still got some money, you know, because at least I'm still better off than that person or that. You think it's okay. It's not. It's not. It's not. And you are going to be your own demise, not anyone around you. You're going to be your own demise, the energy that you bring inside you. God cannot make you such a gift. God cannot make you such a gift and you don't reciprocate that acknowledgement. And how you reciprocate that acknowledgement is by protecting it, is by believing it. You deserve to go on this path on your own. Yes, it's okay, be nervous, but own it. Own it. And moving forward, that's how you're going to live your life. You shouldn't be losing millions to learn these lessons, you know. And like I say, people literally like thrive around places where they can literally like, where they can't be questioned, you know. They thrive around people that won't question them. And the day those people challenge them, those people literally do this. The day that you challenge them, you become a threat, you become a problem. The day that you start thinking for yourself, and that's what's happened with you. They've disabled you because all the time you started thinking for yourself, everybody did this. Because you made everybody feel like they can do anything. So now you're even scared to think for yourself. You're even scared to take these steps, you know? You're right when you say, let me fall then. Yeah. It has to be your attitude for everything else now. It's time to fall and keep falling and keep falling and keep falling. Rap life never fell, you know? If like you never even knew what was happening and you were just that means you're as good as being at Bada Bing and you were just rapping but you just had a title. You know? There's nothing. You just had a name on a paper and you just kept on rapping, you know? It's time to reverse, bro. Don't do it for your kids, don't do it for your wife, do it for yourself. And your words say that, you know, your chorus, you know what you said, like many men have, you know? You are saying everything. You are saying everything. You are the problem and you are doctoring the problem in your lyrics, but like now you gotta literally like put it in your life. You are important, like everyone is important. You are valuable, you matter, but it don't matter if you don't think so. And it don't matter if you think so in the intervals, you know? So I just want to tell you that right now, that even in a bad situation, you're still not bad. Things are not bad from a lifestyle, like a life perspective, you know? You still got family. Even in a bad situation, things are not bad for you. That's your life. How are you going to take ownership of this? How are you going to take ownership of this? Stop being pushed around. Stop allowing people to push you around, you know? And stop literally also always like you always listening yourself. I just rap. Maybe you know, I'm bad in business. You stop listening yourself. Stop it. Stop it. You can't have a balance of such a gift without you at least having 20% to discern how to literally like expand that gift and make it more powerful. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to be as smart as Nota or know everything, but you must at least have 20-30% the brain to discern because you're taking ownership. And ownership doesn't mean being, it just means that I know now I am important. And you know what ownership means? It's like when you're a girl. When you're a girl and you go, I know I'm important. You literally go, I won't just sleep around with this person and that person. And then you find that you haven't slept with anybody and you're a virgin that because you always just, but you're dealing by guy. You know, not because you actually don't want to fuck anybody. You know, it's just that like you always like valued yourself. And that doesn't come with being super holy. I just valued myself. You know what I mean? Like, I can say that, yo, you got some, I don't have money, but like I could be saving little bits of money that could, and then you see me one day with my little bits of money I'm saving, then like, yo, that dude paid. You know what I mean? And that literally is taking control of finances, of decisions about yourself and how you view yourself. You know what I mean? Man, I need you to do a Will Smith happy album next time I see you.
Yeah.
You know, I need you to be getting jiggy with it. You know, I mean, you need to find your happiness, because you are blessed beyond. You are blessed beyond. And you're just letting people tell you that you shouldn't be blessed. You're letting people threaten you when you literally want to make your own mind. Not letting people, then not because they're threatening you, you allowing them to threaten you when you want to make up your mind. You know? And let me tell you one thing. There's no such a thing as a friend who won't literally like make sure that you're taken care of. I don't care what you say. I'm gonna say this to you because nothing's gonna happen to Smacks if I'm around. I'm just saying. If I can control it, nothing's gonna happen to him. If I'm around him, I can control it. That's just it. But I ain't spoken to that guy in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He got his own life, his own wife, you know what I mean? But it's just how it is. And no man who literally will not literally stand for you that way is your friend. So choose also. And the people that literally like are not rolling with you, then let them go, because they're heavy on you. They're heavy on you. They keep on bringing that consciousness of what you can't do. And that's why they were around you, because they literally were, they literally like were positioned to help you. Position them as, because I can't do that. So when you think of them, you think of what you can't. Not because of them, because you've programmed your mind to think of them as what you can't. So now you got to start thinking of what you can. And you need to start bringing people in your circle that literally make you feel like what you can. And I believe that's what your wife does for you, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what you need. You need a new set of people around you who make you believe what you can. And if you can't find them, it's cool. They don't need to be your friends. You know, there's some reasons I won't hang out with Smacks, because there's some things that that when I'm around him, I feel like I can't. But I need to be independent, so I can't be around him also. It's nothing personal. I'm just taking care of myself. You need to start taking care of yourself. And you need to start putting yourself around the energy of what you can. You need to start reading books about other things and other people in the world, and start seeing how big this world is. And then asking yourself, what part do you play?
Yeah. I feel it. 100, you know. Thank you. You know, not a lot of people say this. Like, you know, it couldn't have come from a better place. I mean, this whole Kwesta thing doesn't happen if you don't listen to that kid's demo all those years ago, you know, so yeah, these words go in, bro, and I promise to act on them.
You made me a lot of promises and you've never stuck to them. That's the truth. You have. You made me a lot of promises and you haven't done things, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to see you struggle. I don't. You know? We haven't started this shit for nothing.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're doing. I don't know, whether it's selling fish and chips, or, you know, I just don't want to see you struggle. But you do it to yourself, because you default your mind on failure. And you know what? You're from an environment that's impossible to be who you are. So it's partly not your fault. And that's what your mother sees. Because she's seen more lives than you have seen in her whole life, similar to your grandmother. And that's what they see. They don't think you're more special than the other kids. They don't think you're better than the other kids. They just see that. Because they have seen life. They have seen life. Come, go, struggle, failure. They have seen life. So I think that song literally touched me because of that. And everybody was a lesson. Everybody was a lesson. They showed you what you can't, but now you need to show yourself what you can.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it is what it is. The album is out there, G.O.D Guluva. Make sure you get it. I was happy to see it in the top, couple of songs in the top 100 most streamed songs this weekend. So make sure you go get that album and do the damn thing. Peace.
Broadcast live